start recording. Okay, we're recording.
Can one of you give a quick recap?
Okay. I suppose I can. We began at our apartment. It was Beth who answered the door. First to Margaret, demanding the rent money. You got the rent money, you fucking slob, or something like that. You know, her usual,
Deadbeat, a good try.
her usual ugly self, and we very, very well. Beth very timidly explained, no, no, I don't, but I have a little bit of the rent money. So, can we give this to you now and the rest later? Yeah, but I expect you to pay more than on the next month's rent. And you better have it. As they walked away. Beth, having survived her ordeal, and having had her own door slammed in her face somehow, quickly retreated back into the confines of the apartment. Only for another knock to bring forth her attention. Please don't let it be Margaret. Please don't let it be Margaret. As she goes to the door, opening it to find a pleasant surprise. Professor Ellsworth, of all people. And after reconvening with the professor, our time together wasn't meant to be long. We shared some moments, and then he was murdered in cold blood, or almost in a blaze of glory for the killer, I suppose? I don't know. Anyways, he dead, and now we're trying to track down his killer. We've found a lead after probably breaking several laws in the course of doing so.
Indeed.
Indeed. Mostly Yuko, doing her thing. Cause...
And I am sure you'll break several more before the session is over.
And I'll probably break several more before the session is over. But, god damn it, I have to do these things. Anyways, we've tracked down Professor Ellsworth's nurse, who just so happened to not be there on the night that he was murdered. Yuko made the man think that we were going to make him dig his own fucking grave, and he spilled his guts to us after I citizens arrested his ass. I'm going to sue the fuck out of you. No, you're not. I have two people who basically know you fucking murdered him. You confessed to us. I'm putting you under citizen's arrest. Right? Brought him out to, I think you said, the Finns. Interrogated the fuck out of him. Yuko, in her love for the man, graciously suggested that he turns himself in to the police so he doesn't get himself fucking killed. He refused, like a dumbass. But yeah, that was his choice. He is the master of his own fate, after all. So we brought him back, and he took off in his car, probably got captured. Probably the reason why we're in a fucked up situation now. But anyways, that happened. We returned back to our apartment, with our evidence and a plan of action for the next day, only for the last scene to involve Yuko having two people stand right at the end of her bed as she sleeps, and that's where we left off.
I don't remember them being people. Vaguely people-ish shape.
I thought they were shadowy figures.
They were blurred figures.
And Yuko didn't know they were there.
Did Yuko wear glasses?
It was for probably the first night in a long time.
Hello?
She was sleeping.
I can hear you.
Okay, 1 second. Something really fucked is going on right now. Give me 1 second. Before
Okay.
I guess I gotta open up the fucking doors more so I can get a good internet signal in this motherfucker. Oh, god damn. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I can
Hey,
hear
I'm
you.
in the middle of something now. Sorry. Okay. So hopefully this makes. I'm in the middle of a game, man. A game? Yeah. Game over the net, bro. That's a really good game. Yeah. Could I go back to this? God damn it. Okay. So, anyways,
I love hearing all these people just like coming up to you, Mitchell, and being like, "What you doing? How's it going, dude?"
Go for your. I'm in the middle of something. What are you in the middle of? A game. A game? Target.
I'm just waiting for somebody to ask, "Can I play?" And I'm like, "No, no, you can't." Okay. Anyways,
We don't play with losers.
okay. Continue onward, my friend. I am. Ready.
So yeah, you had a really good sleep, probably the best sleep you'd had in weeks, as these blurred figures stood at the end of your bed, silently watching you. There is a couple of important things that we missed during the synopsis of the last session. Richard repeatedly mentioned that there was that Ellsworth he had constructed a very special urn and had the urn hidden inside the Boston Historical Museum. And he practically begged you to find the urn and place Ellsworth's ashes into it, and bury the. And I actually forgot to have Richard say this, but specifically Ellsworth wanted his ashes and the special urn buried on one of the properties he built.
Okay.
We're just going to retcon that in and say that Richard mentioned that, and he gave you he rambled off a few addresses to some places that Ellsworth renovated, and
So it could be any of those.
yes,
Not in that particular one.
he
Okay.
gave you 3 different addresses. So as you kind of were you saying something, Ben?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm getting like some feedback. For a moment it sounded like your voice. But anyway, so you guys will awaken the next morning. If you'll had a pretty good night's rest, especially Yuko, and you all regain 1 willpower point.
Sweet. I'm not full willpower though. Huh?
All right. In that case, you don't gain anything because you don't need it.
No.
gain nothing.
Okay.
I was down once, but I'm happy.
So we wake up. I'll say after her morning routine, Yuko, being the enthusiast that she is about her job, will go and rouse the others if they have not already been awakened.
It's like 9 in the morning.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, did we gloss over the whole people at the foot of your bed, or is that just you were unconscious? The viewers at home.
Yuko, you woke up the next morning. There's no evidence of anyone having been in your room. Everything is fine. There's no marks on your body. You're not in any pain or anything like that.
Well, I wasn't expecting to be, so.
Watch as I kill off the player characters in the first 5 minutes of the session.
It can't be
You're really
real.
slaughtering them in their sleep.
Yep. You don't even get a choice. You're just dead. But why me? Okay. So yeah, I'll go and I'll gather the others up. I say, Beth, Raven, are you awake?
No.
Raven is awake. She's just doing her morning meditations with Tobias.
He's just sitting there, probably like.
I think you don't give Tobias enough credit. Tobias is very spiritual.
So I say then, So we have to go and get this urn, and then get his ashes, which means we have to find a way to burn his body. Oh god. This is going to be more difficult than I thought.
Well, I have to be to my store by noon. So if you want me to drive, we better get going.
But you're not going to help us for the rest of the day?
Hey, who is going to pay the rent?
But the professor. I mean, he's not going to pay the rent, but I mean, don't we owe him?
I'm not saying I won't help you. I'm just saying that if somebody has to run the store, I am going to make any money.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to go. Beth, are you there?
Almost awake.
I will say, Ellsworth's body, it's at the hospital right now, but it'll probably be sent to he doesn't have any next of kin, so it'll probably just be like cremated on its own. You don't have to burn his body as so much as find where his body was sent and pick up the ashes.
Oh, well, that's good.
After a few days, because it's going to take them some time to cremate it.
How long does it usually take to cremate a body?
Well, I would imagine in a suspicious death, there would be an autopsy first.
Well, you're the only ones who are actively suspicious.
Well, I mean, he died in a fire, right?
He died of smoke inhalation.
Okay, so...
From a fire that was nearby. As far as anyone else is concerned, this is just a tragic accident.
Okay. So there may be an investigation as to how the fire started, but there's no, like, mystery as to how he died. So,
exactly. Now, Yuko did call the police, and she did get an exceptional success on berating the 911 operator into sort of believing her. So that may influence some things later on. We'll see.
Okay.
You will believe me, and you will like it. Okay.
All right. Well, so the Boston History Museum is kind of spendy.
What do you mean?
Indeed, it is. Tickets are like $25 each.
Oof.
And I will say that this will, Raven's okay, because she has one dot of resources, but this will pretty much blow through what little money Yuko and Beth have left.
Well, do we all need to go in?
No,
or
not
better
necessarily.
question, do we all need to pay to go in?
Well, I say one of us could sneak in, try to get it.
I mean,
might be easier that way, in fact.
I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, one of us would pay to go in the movie, and then we would go open the back door for the other one of us.
Well, I think you're going to find that they have cameras to avoid that kind of thing.
Just because they have cameras doesn't mean if somebody's watching them all the time. They just have those so they can go back and look if something happens.
No, I agree. I just think we might, if we're going to do that, we might want to have somebody go in and, get the attention of security people somehow. Another thing we could do, I mean, it doesn't sound like it would take three of us at the same time. We could get one ticket and only have one of us go in there at a time until such time as we think we actually need more than one of us in there.
Yes, that is true.
All right. How about I go in first, scope the place out?
Okay, that works. I don't know what their policy on guns is I'd kind of like you to have your gun, honestly, with the strange things happening, but I don't know if they'll let you in.
I doubt they search you at the door, do they?
Well, that's a
Maybe
good
they have
point.
a metal detector or something.
Yuko had not considered this, and you notice her, like, she takes her hand and she, like, places it over the gun, like, almost as if she doesn't want to part with it. But then she jerks her hand away for a moment. It'll be waiting for me when I get back.
I don't know if you really are gonna have a situation where you need your gun.
You never know. Didn't think I
I
needed
think
it back then. I could have really used it back then.
Can I just say what a great bunch of friends you are? That I mentioned this thing about this person like deflating, and you're like still believing in me and stuff. Now, if you're willing to go that far, I think the proper weapon for this place would be a mail opener. All we have to do is puncture it. What do you think?
Well, if they have anything, they have metal. So any kind of knife or something like that is gonna. They're not gonna search people at the door. So if they have anything, it's gonna be metal detectors, I think.
We'll just have to wing it, I suppose. If we get caught, odds are my pistol wouldn't really make a difference anyways.
Well, it shouldn't be like. I mean, if you get caught, then just leave nicely and just be like, play the bumbling fool or whatever and leave nicely, and then we at least know what we're up against and we can make a plan from there. But I don't think this is a situation where you really are going to need to shoot or stab your way out of it.
Well,
I feel
come,
like that's a
but
little intense.
well, come on! I can't play a fool. I mean, do you know what you're asking me to do?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
What are you trying to say?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying you can act.
I suck at acting, though. But I'll try.
I think you'll be fine.
I'm not sure if I agree with you that there won't be a need for self defense. I mean, what if we find any of these smiling asbestos people? I mean, that doesn't freak anybody out.
They don't seem to. The guy you followed uh, just ran from you, and then you shoved him, and he disappeared. Correct?
Yeah.
And then the people in that other place didn't seem to want to confront us in a public area, right?
True.
We don't have any indication as of yet that they would be coming after us in the middle of a very public place.
Yeah, if
Even
anything, I
if
would have expected for them to come for us last night.
Yeah. It's quite possible that these are some kind of supernatural beings that have a very specific, thing in mind that we are not necessarily a part of. Maybe
Anyways,
they're, mostly
anyways, we're just wasting time. Let's go. I say, eager to get on with this.
Well, what you call wasting time, some would call having a plan
Oh, I do have a plan, though.
and not just running headlong into things.
But I do have a plan.
Well, I'm not on board with you shooting any guards
We've already agreed I'm not gonna shoot the guards. I'm gonna play the fool, like you
Hey,
said.
you said you couldn't play the fool. You can't just change your mind in the middle.
Well, it doesn't mean I can't try.
Okay.
And we'll be like what, a block away? Let's see. Oh man, we're gonna have to pay for parking too.
This is why I have to go to work.
The real question is, how am I going to get this thing out of there? Like, I might be able to get to it, but how am I going to sneak out with it?
Backpack.
So, okay, I mean, I guess we can try that. Do I own a backpack?
You do.
Okay, I'm gonna take it. And hilariously, I'm gonna say, like, it is like the most out of character thing for Yuko to own. It's like a fucking Hello Kitty backpack.
Maybe something from your bright and happy school days.
Yeah,
before that
my
accident.
bygone school days. Yep.
Pull
And it
that.
just clashes heavily with like the blackness that is her clothing.
You can't. It could be like goth Hello Kitty. They have that. All right, let's go. Got to get a move on. I got to go to work.
I'm driving.
Why do you always want to drive? I mean, fine. Fine, drive. Hurry up.
I will say that Raven is very trusting in letting Beth drive her car.
Well, I have not so far. Have not
You can
been described.
You can hear the hesitation in Raven's voice as she considers the possibilities of what might happen.
Well, does Raven know that Beth is a bad driver or something? Or that's something Raven's going to find out?
Well, I do think my hastiness probably means that I'm, willing to cut right in front of people and such. But I'm good.
Well, you could be a stunt driver.
Okay, so we head on our way to the museum.
Yes. So.
On the way there, I'll think to myself, I wonder if we need something. This whole place is going to be metal. So a metal detector will be stupid. I wonder what we can do. I guess we have information as to where we might be able to find it. We had some clues given to us by Richard. Is that right? Did he give us somewhere to start?
Yeah, if he told us right, don't we know exactly where it is?
Pretty sure he did, yeah.
Wait, so Richard told you that the urn is inside the museum.
Yeah.
I thought he gave us some pretty specific instructions.
Yeah, I could have sworn he did as well.
He said that it was in the main room behind one of the decorative vents.
Okay.
Anybody else think it's weird that he would have hid it there and not, I don't know, in a safe deposit box or in his house?
Oh, come on, Beth. That's too cliche. A safe deposit box? Come on.
Is there anything that's happened in the last day and a half that has not been weird?
Well, I'm just wondering if it's, maybe it's worth something. Maybe it's, I think it would be weird if we got caught and we had like some gold thing clearly taking out of the...
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of genius in a way what Professor Ellsworth has done. Because, one, nobody would suspect for it to be hidden in a public place like this. And two, even if they knew it was there, they would have to make through the museum's security.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you guys, everyone's cool with the idea that that they might have been after the urn? Maybe that's one of the reasons they were there. Well, I tell you, they're not getting the urn.
Maybe. I guess we'll find out. Huh.
As you're around this time, Beth pulls into the parking lot of the museum. It's Oh, it's a Tuesday, so like there's not too many people here. Mostly empty. Uh, but there are a handful of people, of cars in the parking lot.
Okay. I'm gonna exit out so we don't have to pay for parking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say, meet me back here. I'll call you when I'm on my way.
Okay.
And I begin to approach the museum, totally not looking suspicious with my black clothes and Hello Kitty backpack.
You walk up there and you walk inside and approach the ticket teller. There is, in fact, a metal detector as well as 4 security guards kind of milling about the main lobby.
Okay, I left my gun back in the car, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I was not bringing that with me. Much
Oh,
to
you left it in
my
the car? I thought you left it back at our apartment. Okay, it's in the car. That's good to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I left it specifically with Raven. I'm gonna say I left it with Raven.
Also, just FYI, because Raven assumes that she'll have to go straight from here to work, Tobias is in the car with us.
I like it that we have like pets in all of our games. That adds a level of connection, you know, realism and such.
Okay, so I approach the entrance, putting on my best fake smile, trying to appear as not suspicious as possible.
What's the word for them?
Casual.
Receptionist?
Okay.
Teller? You know what I mean. The person who's going to sell you the tickets. She says it's $24.50. She doesn't even look up from the crossword puzzle that she's playing.
Okay, I count out the amount, and I place it in front of her.
You pay in like penny rolls.
What the fuck?
One.
You're like, I'm kind of broke.
She takes she stamps her hand in return.
You're telling me that this is all I need to get in here? I ask.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I step inside.
Enjoy. She goes
Oh.
back to her crossword.
Oh, I will. I will. And I'm going to begin
So-
to. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So yeah, you proceed through the museum. It's a lot of historical paintings and statues, a lot of which has significance with the Revolutionary War. Eventually, you come into the main area where a replica of the Liberty Bell is hung up in the middle. All around the sides are decorative vents.
How many?
There is one in each corner of the room.
Shit. And I don't know which one it is, huh?
Give me a
I'll do an Can I do an investigate roll? Investigate wits?
Yeah, go ahead.
Investigate wits. All right. That's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Will this count as a crime scene technically?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't get to call it a crime scene just because we're going to steal
Just because
from it.
we're going to
Okay, I'm gonna apply.
I'm about to do crime.
Okay, I'm gonna apply
That's
a
right.
point of willpower. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jesus Christ. 1, 2, 3. 3 successes. 2 of them are 10s. 3 successes total.
Okay. 3 successes.
Yep.
So you go to each of the vents. You kind of like you can't remove them. You can remove them. You don't remove them. You kind of like feel around them. Maybe peek through them, see if you can like look around the corner into the shaft, see if there's anything in there. On the third vent that you check, you see something like shimmering in the darkness behind the vent.
Okay. Assuming that I have found what I am looking for, I've internally asked myself, now the question is, how am I going to get it without being seen? How is this, go ahead.
It's screwed in with bolts.
And I didn't bring any tools.
Probably should have brought some tools. I didn't think about that.
Okay, I'm thinking here. I have my belt. If I took my belt off and attempted to use either the little lever thingy or the belt buckle itself, could I use that to get into those bolts and turn them?
Or are they too small or too big?
Or, yeah, are they too small or too big?
I'd say they're too big, actually.
The bolts or my belt buckle?
The bolts.
Oof. Okay, so they're larger. Oh, shit.
Actually, no. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to use the little pointed metal bit to like turn the screw.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. It might be a bit. It's not going to work perfectly. You know, a screwdriver would be ideal.
Yeah.
But you can definitely attempt it. I will say with a -2 penalty.
Okay, and what am I rolling?
You are going to be rolling a intelligence plus crafts plus equipment.
Fuck. Intelligence plus crafts plus what?
Plus equipment, which is -2.
Okay, 1, 2, and then I have 1 in craft. So that's 3, and then my equipment is -2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm rolling 1 die. I'm gonna put a point of willpower into that. So that brings my total die up to 4.
Okay.
1 success. And wait,
All
and
right.
actually it's a 10, so I gotta roll 1 more. And
Nice.
one
Nice.
success. 1 success.
Okay. So it takes you like 10 minutes, but you eventually manage to get 2 of the screws off.
Okay. And then what happens?
And as you're getting to work on the third one, another patron of the museum, this young lady in a yellow shirt, short brown hair, kind of walks up to you. Excuse me? Are you supposed to be doing that?
Oh, fuck. I look back at her. I put on my best smile, and I say, yes. I may not look like it, but I'm actually part of the janitorial staff here. I'm trying to get in the vent to clean it.
She kind of like looks you up and down, looks at your backpack.
My uniform was dirty. I'm sorry. I say.
She kind of like glances at the belt in your hand that you're like fumbling about with and trying to like unscrew.
And I say that I wasn't able to find a screwdriver either.
Did you leave
Okay.
that in your uniform?
Yes. I left it in my uniform at the dry cleaners.
Right. Give me a persuade manipulation roll at a Jesus, that's gonna be like a minus. I'm gonna say a -3.
Okay, I'm gonna apply a point of willpower.
And this is a contested roll.
Okay. Okay, so I have 2 in manipulation. And I have 3. Does this count as a logical argument? Because I did logic my way through there with a possible explanation for everything.
That didn't sound very logical.
My point is,
I'm
though.
gonna say no.
Oh, come on. Come on! Okay.
You can totally spend willpower though.
Okay, so if I spend willpower, it comes out to 1, 2, 3, 4 die. Oh, God, help me. I have no successes. Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, well, she kind of like frowns a bit, and she's like, uh-huh.
I'm
And
just gonna like noticing that she doesn't believe me. I'm just gonna say, you don't believe me.
hey, it's none of my problem. She turns and starts walking off down the hallway.
I'm gonna watch her. Where does she go?
She disappears down the hallway. Actually, give me a intelligence wits roll.
Oh, good. Something I'm good at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 die. 1, 2, 3 successes.
You took a brief glance at a map of the museum as you were walking through the front, and you can't be certain, but you're pretty sure the security office is down that hall.
Yup, I am gonna dip. Yep. I'm gonna dip outside of the building. Yep, I'm getting out of here. Fuck this.
Okay. You leave with no issues. No one stops you, and you return to the car, empty-handed, unfortunately.
And I say, when I get back in the car, I just sit there with my eyes closed, my lips slightly, just pouched. And I say, I made a complete fool out of myself. So you were absolutely right, Raven. You were absolutely right. I
What
am
happened?
great. Well, I found the vent. I found the vent. I found the urn, and it's behind the vent, obviously, like Richard said. And then I tried to use my belt buckle to unscrew the screws to get into the vent. And this lady found me doing it. So I bullshitted her, trying to say that I was a part of this maintenance staff, and I was trying to get into the vent to clean it. That I left my tools and my uniform at the dry cleaners, unfortunately. So this was what I was having to resort to. She didn't buy it, to say the least.
Yeah, that's kind of a shit lame story, dude.
Well, yeah, it feels kind of bad.
Okay, so all we gotta do is get ourselves something that looks like it would be maintenance clothes, right? And something that will work as a screwdriver that will detect.
Yep, that sounds about right. Any
And then
suggestions? Want to go down to
go
the
back
want to go down to the thrift store?
do any of us have any clothes that would look like maintenance worker clothes?
Kind of a white collar person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm actually unemployed,
Fashionista.
so I guess I'm just as much a blue collar person as a white collar person right now. But
Well, Beth may have worked like maintenance jobs in the past. Out of all of you, I could imagine her having some kind of like maintenance workers uniform or something like that. Yeah.
huh.
Because she has an unpaid internship with Google, I think you said it was, and she works odd jobs when she can. I believe that's what you said.
Yeah.
I think everything that Raven has is pretty like hippie bohemian-ish.
Okay, well let's.
Yeah, I did have something. I think I have something back at my place or our place. I wonder though, if we have that outfit, that's only gonna help us, for just that brief moment while we unscrew things.
Well, the rest of the time, nobody's going to be questioning what we're doing.
Well, I'm just wondering, do we need to find something that unscrews, like some kind of device other than a screwdriver since they're metal, or by virtue of having the outfit, can we, easily put that, in a tray or whatever, and they
I,
go through it with the.
I look at Beth and I say, it's just like working on a computer. I mean, same concept. You don't have a screwdriver just to unscrew things?
Well, we have to get something past the metal detector, or we have to bullshit our way in.
Oh, damn. You're right.
So it has to be something we can use as a screwdriver that's not, that's not going to set off the metal detector, or that is, plausible that we'd have in our bag or whatever.
What about a toolbox? If we're a
tool.
maintenance man, we would have a toolbox, and they wouldn't question us bringing in a toolbox. They'd let us walk right through the door.
Yeah.
Well, if we were a maintenance man that worked there, wouldn't they stop us? I mean, wouldn't we be using a different door? Why would they?
Because it's easy to get through the front door. I mean, think about it. I'm sure the staff here walk right through there every day.
Well, I'm sure they've got badges.
We forgot ours at the dryers. What can I say?
Yeah, how'd that work out for you last time?
Well, I wasn't immediately called out. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know how. I mean, the urn's going to continue to be there, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have to get this done today. We could be as methodical and casing the joint as we need, right?
I think we should take in a wooden cheese knife.
Because that's not suspicious at all.
They don't search you. You just walk through the metal detector. It's not going to set the metal detector off.
Yeah, I guess you got a point. Okay. Well, let's go and get
Well,
us...
you're the one who saw how big they were. Would Raven's cheese knife work?
I don't know. Would Raven's cheese knife work, I ask myself?
It would certainly be better
Than my
than
fucking belt buckle.
than your fucking belt buckle.
Yeah.
What about
I say,
one of our cooking scrapers? Do we have something?
I say,
Yeah.
if I can do it with a fucking belt buckle, I can do it with a cheese knife. So
Well,
it'll work.
we can take a couple. You can take a couple of things. You can take a scraper and a cheese knife or whatever. Anything that's not metal is going to be fine.
Yeah, let's just... I don't know if it's a good idea for me to go back in there, though. Honestly.
No, I'll go.
Yeah, somebody else should take a turn for sure.
But give me your ticket.
That's the problem. I hold up my hands. Now, I might be able to, smudge this on your hand, and they might believe it. The guardsmen at the front didn't seem too interested. As long as they see it, I'm sure they might let you back in. What do you think?
Well, I used to draw on those temporary tattoo kind of things for my nieces and nephews. I wonder if I could make something like that would pass casual inspection.
Well, whatever we're gonna do, let's go back to the house and do it.
Okay.
Do any of you listen to the radio on the way back?
Tobias doesn't like the radio.
Okay, fair enough.
We have a suspect that just tried to rob the Museum of History. Japanese Japanese female. Be on the lookout.
Wearing a belt.
I'm just
All right.
musing to myself, if I do get caught, maybe I can fake being criminally insane. I mean, people already think I'm kind of out there anyway.
You guys make it back to your apartment without incident.
Cool.
Okay, and then we have the montage of getting the disguise ready.
Yes.
You know,
Gather the clothes, gather the cheese knives.
and you know, in the background, "Live to Win" is just like blaring all throughout the apartment. Live
Oh,
to win till you die, till the light dies in your eyes.
And after you've assembled your gear, after rocking out to a montage and dancing about the house,
And
as Beth puts on the maintenance uniform, do you immediately head back to the museum?
yes,
is it? Did you say it was winter?
Ooh, I never defined. I said it was after Halloween, so yeah, it's winter. Although everything hasn't like started to frost over or snow yet.
So I think if I, wear my coat over my clothes on the way in, they'll see me as a, just as another customer.
Oh, and then you can go into the restroom and like change.
Yeah, doesn't that sound all intriguey?
Yeah.
why didn't I think of that? I say internally.
It's like the opening the jar, like the first person tries and then they can't do it, and maybe the second person tries and they can't do it, and the third person's like an 80-pound weakling, but everyone else has already untightened it. So, and if I fail, we have one more of us to go.
Wait, did she remember to bring a container for the fucking urn?
Oh, you still have your Hello Kitty backpack?
Yeah, I'm gonna give her that.
Really?
Yes. Do you say that as my character hands you the backpack?
I do. I say, well, did they see you wear this? I mean,
Listen, we
Did
were
you bring
all
something of your own?
5 years old at one point in
no,
our
I didn't. I was
lives.
too hasty.
Don't question it.
Okay. I decided that we might as well just pay them for the second ticket, since it's probably that's really a straightforward way of doing it. Despite how cheap I am.
I just start musing to myself, Professor. I just say, Sensei better be grateful for all of the danger I'm putting myself into. Like, damn.
Well, I gotta say, he was very, very generous to us these last few months. I am definitely not going to let him down.
Good luck,
It's
Beth.
about 11:30 now. It's taking you guys some time to drive back and forth between this place. Also, Raven, you're running low on gas again.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to drop you guys off and go to work. So just take the bus to my shop.
Yeah, we're gonna take the bus as we're being chased down by the cops.
Well, if you do it right, you won't be chased. Jesus.
And if we can, we could somehow rip open the Hello Kitty backpack at some point, so we're on the bus with like a glowing gold.
Look, don't take the bus. Walk. I don't care, but I have to go to work.
Okay, I'll wait for you outside, Beth.
Works for me.
So Raven and drives off for her job.
And I will dart up the steps of the fine museum that.
Shelling out the last of your cash. It's another $24.50.
Some quarters in there, some dimes, some things they're like, oh my god.
Same receptionist is now playing solitaire on the computer. She stamps her hand.
By the way,
Thank you.
I have my gun now. By the way, Mike, I took that back.
Okay, cool. And you pass through the metal detector, and you're inside.
I will pull out my my
Well, the
note.
question is, did Yuko remember to let you guys know which vent?
Oh, come on. Obviously, I did.
I know.
I think it's the one that has the bolts missing.
Actually, as you walk in there, you see a maintenance person standing by one of the vents, tightening the bolts back on.
Son of a.
Fuck.
Well, at least that tells me which one it was, right? You said you only had to. You only unbolted the one that you saw the shimmering, right?
Yeah. I did.
And how close? Is there a way I can open the vent without? I don't know. Obviously, doing that. Like I can, do some sketch work on my sketch pad, and then when people aren't looking, do some unscrewing, and then if I hear people, then get back to my sketching.
Yeah.
I will examine. I will case the joint for cameras.
Oh, there are cameras everywhere.
Excellent.
I already knew this.
And remember, this is like the center room, so there's literally always someone passing through. But the maintenance guy finishes tightening the screws back up, and he walks past, muttering to himself, "Fucking assholes! What's wrong with these customers?"
Okay, so then I'll make my
What?
way to the.
What are you doing?
1 second.
Yeah, not bad.
So I'll make my way to the bathroom.
Bathroom.
Be all subterfuge.
Don't close it all the way.
Yeah, there's no cameras in the
What?
bathroom. We aren't that much of a police state yet.
Yet.
And you change into your maintenance gear.
Very nice, and I will leave as though I kind of own the joint, and untie.
You guys
Hurry
there?
up! Mutter.
Yeah,
I'll
we're
see if
here.
I can mutter myself too, in the same kind of way as the other guy. Son of a bitch.
Okay.
Tighten it up. Untighten it. Tighten it up. Untighten it.
So, with your cheese knife, of course.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
I have the front of it, because I've got it mostly covered by my arm,
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully people aren't looking too close. Cross those fingers.
Give me a. It would be intelligence crafts. The butter knife will not give any kind of penalty, but it won't give a bonus either.
You say crafts and intelligence?
Yeah.
All right, I have the Demolisher merit,
Mm-hmm.
which allows me to ignore up to 2 dots of object durability. Would that be of any assistance in this case?
Not unless you're smashing your way through the grate.
I was just thinking I probably know a little bit more about, how to get leverage and stuff. That's cool though. All right, well I'm definitely using willpower on this.
Durability is essentially the armor of inanimate objects. When you strike an inanimate object, you deduct the damage you do deducts from the object's structure, but the damage you do is soaked by the durability. So you can essentially ignore armor on
Yeah,
inanimate.
I was just thinking there might be this might be a different way of using it. All right, so not bad, not bad at all. All right, so that's 4, 5 successes.
Jesus, that butter knife really helped.
Okay. How many successes did you get? Sorry, I missed it.
5.
Jesus Christ. Okay. In that case, you in no time at all, you've undone all 4 of screws, and you take the thing off the wall. You get a few glances from people in the walking past, but no one comes and approaches you.
I'm sorry, you say no one approaches me?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll have a kind of a bored look on my face as I reach in to the now open vent space, and I actually am having my backpack is going to be right there, so that hopefully I can easily slip the whatever it is, hopefully an urn, into it.
So this whatever is shimmering back there is like down the vent and like around the corner. The vent's too small for you to climb into, so you have to really like just like stick your arm in there and grope blindly around the corner. And maybe if you stretch far enough, you can maybe reach in and kind of like nudge it a little forward so you can get better grasp of it. So I need you to make a wits dexterity.
Damn, if that were me, I would be able to reach that shit so fucking easy right now. Those are literally my 2 highest stats. Damn.
Wits and dex. All right. Well, I'm definitely using willpower because I got to get in and get out, or else I'm not going to be able to make it up to my fallen professor. Three successes.
Okay. So you reach around the corner, and eventually you strain and you reach, and eventually you feel your fingers touch the side of something hard and smooth, almost like stone, almost. And along the top, you kind of edge your fingers along the top of it. There appears to be something laid on top of it, like a folder of some kind.
A folder.
And I need you to make a strength dexterity roll to see if you can like pull it out, get a grip of it, and actually like move it out.
I don't suppose athletics has anything to assist me with on this.
Nope, it's a strength dexterity.
Because, I specialize in climbing, so I don't know if finding good spots to cling on to would help. Okay, still want to use my willpower, so... Oh, nice. So that's 4 with 2 10s. Alright.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so you pull what appears to be it's a very oddly shaped urn. It's more of a box, really, rather than an urn, and it appears to be made out of obsidian, of all things. A spiral has been etched along the top of it, and the sides are covered with various symbols of sacred geometry lovingly carved into the sides. On the top of the urn is a 3-ring binder with just filled with laminated pages.
Okay. Well, I would love to look at that right now, but
The title of the folder is Boston Workings.
Boston Workings. Well, I will try to have a look of, boredom and, boy, I hate my job. I'm trying to, kind of mimic the feel of that lady up front, and I'll, be looking through my bag, looking for shit, and then find a way of putting both the folder and the obsidian urn inside the Hello Kitty backpack.
Oh my god.
Very professional.
Like make my way through some blind spots in the in the cameras, and
It's around noon at this. It's 11ish, closer to noon, and so people are now starting to file into the museum. It's getting a bit busy. None of the guards or other workers there stop you.
great. And I will, I guess, put back on my coat, and I'll be like on my cell phone as I casually walk out the front door.
All right, and you regroup with Yuko outside.
I say, did you get it?
I did.
Oh, thank God. Ugh.
I don't know how you undid 2 of those bolts with. You just use your belt.
I did. I just used my belt.
Well, maybe next time I'll be the first person to go in, and then and then you can come back with the tools, since you seem to really know what you're doing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Was it hard to get it out of there?
It was. My arm aches too because I had to stretch it, twist it.
Oh
Ugh.
man, that's really too bad. I just like contort my arm slightly around myself to like show off. I could have gotten that in a snap. I snap my wrist like just to like show off a bit more.
I'll be like, "Why don't you have a boyfriend?"
And I look at her a bit mischievously. Maybe I'm not interested in boys. Did that ever strike you?
No, it didn't. Well, then, why don't you have a girlfriend?
Maybe I'm not interested in girls either.
Yeah, maybe I'm not interested in girls either.
Well, all right then.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not interested in anybody. Enough musing though. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, why don't we? So we take a nice walk then, or do you want to take the bus?
Well, we have to go regroup with Raven, I suppose, and then we have to go get the professor's ashes. So let's go meet up with Raven.
Oh, okay. And is your shop downtown at all, or?
I can't downtown rent.
Oh, that's a good point.
Wait, say that again, Marie?
I can't afford downtown rent, can I?
No, you
I would
couldn't.
not think so.
Your store. I was kind of considering having it in Salem.
Oh.
That's only like an hour's drive by car. By bus, it's probably a bit longer. um,
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. Noticing like how far we're gonna have to walk for this motherfucker. I'm gonna say to Beth, "Do you have any money left?"
Nope. Well, I mean, I got some change.
And seeing how fucked we are without a ride, knowing that Raven is out of gas, I'm gonna take out my phone one last time and try to call for help.
no one picks up.
I just look at my phone and I just like bring it like right up to my mouth, right? And I say, "You never answer when I need you." And I just fucking close the phone. Anyways, I guess we're walking.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay.
You know, we could call up Richard.
That seems like a really bad
Out
idea.
of town.
We did tell him to get out of town, but he probably didn't do that, and we can be like, hey, we got the shit, but we don't have our mode of transportation right now. So
Yeah, I don't trust
pick us
him.
up.
I don't trust him. Let's just walk it.
Okay, let me just interject something here. Wouldn't Micah? Wouldn't you think that two girls living in Boston, low income, no cars, would like have a bus pass?
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of places do offer bus passes. Do we have bus passes?
So actually, what you could do is you could take the T line, runs up to Salem. It'll still take you about an hour and a half to get there, but that's a lot better than the 6 hours it would take to walk from Boston to Salem.
Okay, then that's what we're gonna do.
And yeah, I'll say you have a bus pass.
Okay, we're gonna take either the bus or the T line. Whatever works.
The T line would definitely be faster.
Okay, we're taking the T line.
Would Raven, would you care to did I ask you to describe your shop last time? I think I did.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You asked the other ladies to describe their rooms, but I described my shop.
Cool. So, yeah, it takes you an hour and a half to get there by the T line. But you do eventually arrive. It is now about 1:30.
Okay.
And you know, since we're both hasty, that on the T line we did look into the folder, right?
Yeah, that was
Oh, yeah.
definitely a thing. We were definitely looking at that.
So yeah, you guys opened up the folder, and inside are just like page after page of just like diagrams of buildings. But it's odd because the way the buildings are laid out, they're laid out in a way that like geometric patterns are built into the actual designs. Along the sides of the different sketches, some of the buildings you actually recognize, like the Boston Public Library, and the fucking Boston History Museum is also in there, detailed. But there's like strange like equations along the side, like X equals purchased under a new moon, or N equals number of children with single man.
Okay, I looked through it.
X. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, well, yeah, this definitely belongs to Ellsworth.
As you flip towards the center of the folder, you see that there is maps, very old maps of Boston from maybe around the 1950s. And these maps have these kind of lines um, that just connect different buildings and different historical sites together, and they're labeled ley lines.
I look to Beth and I say, "What the hell is a ley line?"
Didn't we hear Richard say something about ley lines?
Mm-hmm.
That the professor used to always talk about them and stuff.
Can you Google that? See what that means?
Yes, I can. And since I have a crack in my camera on my, you know, phone I've had for like 6 years, I'm taking pictures of everything in this just in case it should. I don't know. I feel like this is very important stuff that we will able to get it back.
Yeah, I'll take pictures with my phone. Don't worry about it, Beth. Just do the Google search. I say as I begin
You know what
to.
I'm saying?
I take out my
I'm
flip
totally the Google
phone.
girl.
I take out my flip phone and I just do a bunch of pictures to, you know.
Flip phone, awesome.
Another thing that you notice about the Boston workings is it seems incomplete. There are some layouts and diagrams that definitely should have a second page, but there isn't one.
So he left out some of his stuff. That's my first thought. I'm saying this out loud, by the way. But why? Why would he leave out some of his stuff? Some of the drawings? Unless there was something he didn't want them to see. Or somebody took it.
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, just kind of the. We just consider the kind of person who puts all these things in a secret compartment in a, one of his buildings. It's very possible he, has pieces of the full picture in different parts of these
Oh,
things.
I swear. If he makes us go to more places.
I mean, at least the library's free.
That's true.
Man, this is ridiculous.
That's what the T line looks like.
Nice. So, after, documenting all of this information, I look to Beth and I say, did you find anything about ley lines?
Yeah. Something about magic and connecting places of power and stuff.
Really? Magic? No, you don't
Yeah.
think the professor was really into some shit like that, do you?
I don't know. I mean, Stonehenge was kind of geometric. I mean, I studied some of that kind of stuff from for the horror genre that I'm trying to program, and some of those patterns can seem very mystical and freak people out. I don't know if it's true, of course. That would be pretty dumb. But then again, I wouldn't have thought that there'd be asbestos people last week either. So
Well, come on, though. I mean, think about it, Beth. Don't you think if something like magic were real, we would have seen it by now?
and I'll
By the way,
I'll
Micah, I am
pause,
assuming...
remembering something in my past.
By the way, Micah, I'm assuming that
Mhm.
this fits, right? Because my character would have no knowledge of this, right?
I think we agreed that you had like some knowledge of the supernatural, like there's shit out there. Whether or not you believe in magic, though, because of that.
No, I'm gonna say she adamantly disbelieves in magic, actually.
Okay.
Just because she hasn't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Or doesn't remember seeing it, at least.
Yeah, I don't really believe that stuff either. In fact, I happen to know that all these times people claim to see ghosts, and feel like the hairs on the back of their necks are going off and stuff. There's actually like a subsonic range that if it hits you, it makes you freak out like that. So it makes you think crazy stuff is going on, but all it really is some pipes, built in the 1920s are making these subsonic vibrations. And maybe that's all this is you know.
Well, I find that more believable than magic. I'll say that much.
But you know, if there's strange people walking around, you know, with strange smiles on their face being controlled by something, you know, I guess it's possible that this ley line stuff too. And, you know, if we try to follow these lines, we might be able to complete, you know, our professor's stuff, but we might run into more of these shit stains.
And I pat the gun on my side. And when we see him, we'll be ready.
Around this time, your the T line you reach your stop.
All right, we
Raven's
depart.
store is like a couple blocks away.
We depart and make
Find
our
it.
way there.
I find it interesting that you're having this conversation about how magic is hokey on your way to Salem to an occult shop that's run by your roommate.
Well, I mean, as long as it pays the bill.
You guys walk in through the front door of the shop. Tobias is enjoying his sun lamp as usual. He kind of flicks his tongue at you as you walk in.
I
guys
look at
find
the
it?
lizard, and I stick my tongue out and I flick. Love you too, Tobias.
I say, did you find it?
Yeah, we found it. I say.
Where is it? What is it? Let me see.
I take out the binder and I'll let her take a look at it.
Well, you're cutting the. Oh wait, no, you're not. You're good.
We got the urn too.
So I'm looking at the binder, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, you get. Don't tell me you're actually able to understand some of this stuff.
I've heard of some of this before. Yeah. I have to do
Give
some
me
research.
a occult intelligence roll, actually.
Occult intelligence.
You know, I just realized.
I don't remember how
I
much I have.
think I may have betrayed my character here a little bit. I don't
How so?
know. Well, I have some occult knowledge myself. I have like 2 dots in occult.
Well, I mean, just because you know about shit doesn't mean you.
I know
like,
about
believe
this
it.
shit. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like, having occult knowledge could mean that you know about ley lines. It doesn't necessarily mean you like believe in them.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
And I have 1 point in it. I thought that would be appropriate based on the stuff that I study. So.
I got 3 successes.
Okay. So yeah, as far as you can tell, it seems like Ellsworth was like he was trying to like cultivate. Some people believe, and you and your character may be one of them, that ley lines can channel a certain kind of resonance, and it would seem like Ellsworth was trying to affect the resonance of different ley lines by renovating and augmenting buildings that were built in the path of the ley line, and using the principles of sacred geometry to alter the energies passing through this building in certain ways. Based on what you can tell, he was trying to make resonances that brought joy and hope to the people living in them, as well as good health and fortune.
Okay.
That
So-
sounds like the professor.
So I tell that to.
And you can tell that by looking at some shapes on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you haven't ever led me astray before, so I'm inclined to believe you.
Well, good.
As much as
How are
that fact bothers me.
I hope one of these times we find some kind of programming code so I can look at a bunch of stuff on paper and say, "See, I know what this means."
So, where do we go from here then? I guess we have to get the
Why don't we-
professor's ashes and bury him then?
Well, we should call the hospital, or maybe even the police. I don't know, and say that we know that he doesn't have any next of kin. So where would his body be sent, etc.
Oh, don't tell me we're gonna have to end up stealing his ashes too. I swear. Oh, come
Well, I
on.
don't know that we'd have to steal them. I would think that if there was no next of kin, they would release them to somebody
That is true.
rather than doing like a pauper's burial, or they would just be happy that they didn't have to pay for the burial or whatever.
Okay.
Off topic. Want to know something really fucking sad about urns and cremation in general?
What's that?
Is most people don't even pick up their cremated family member.
Yeah.
Really?
And so like funeral homes will literally just have storerooms filled with urns, and they can't like dispose of it because it's a lawsuit waiting to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they just hoard them for years.
That's fucking depressing.
Yeah.
And when people do pick up their cremated loved ones, you want to know where those urns usually end up?
The trash.
No, in the trunk of people's cars.
How do you know this?
Because I went to school for this.
Oh my god. And this is like a fact. This
Yes,
is a
it's a
statistical fact. Oh my god.
What did you go to school for?
I went to try and be a mortician.
Oh yeah, maybe
About a year of that.
maybe I knew that.
What stopped you?
I had multiple family members just drop dead on me.
That's sad and kind of ironic.
It's funny because I left the funeral service I left my schooling for the funeral service, I should say, to go to St. Louis and help my grandparents finish the last arrangements for my Aunt Merle.
Okay. This is getting kind of personal now. I mean, I am recording this.
Oh, I don't mind talking about it.
Okay.
I mean,
Alright, I got you. Just making sure you didn't forget.
I
So,
think I knew that about the urns though, but I don't remember where I found out from.
yeah, it's sad and horrible. But anyway, back to the game. Just to speed things along a little, I'll say you call the hospital and they direct you to the funeral home where Ellsworth has been sent. And you contact the funeral home and learn that his body is due to be cremated at the end of the week. And that you are free to pick up the ashes.
What day?
I will-
What day of the week is that?
It's a Tuesday
So we're gonna have to wait till Sunday?
or
I'd
Friday.
still like to see his body.
I guess I said end of the week. I meant Friday, the end of the weekday. I guess the end of the working week rather.
Well, shit. That sucks.
So we know where he was sent though.
Yes. And the lady you talk to tells you that like he has no next of kin. So if you were like friends or whatnot, you are totally welcome to his ashes.
That was surprisingly easy. Wow. I was expecting a whole lot of boring paperwork. But I guess, it doesn't matter. Right? It's terrible,
Do the vet.
I say.
What'd you say?
I say it's terrible.
Sure is.
Now, the three addresses Richard gave you. One is located in One is located in Allison. That's probably the closest one to your apartment. Another one is in Roxbury, and another one is in the South End.
And we don't know what these buildings are. We just have the addresses right now.
Yep.
Okay.
A simple Google search will tell me what they are.
All right. Beth is doing a simple Google search to find out what those addresses are.
Okay, they are 3 different homes. The one in Allison is this pointy Victorian house. The one in Roxbury is kind of in a rough neighborhood, but it's this brick townhouse with bars on the window. And the one in the South End is a little bungalow that looks very similar to the other ones on the street.
Hmm.
What's the closest one to us?
The one in Allison, the Victorian house.
I think that should be the one we go to.
Now, couldn't we just, I don't know, put the urn back?
What do you mean, put the urn back?
Put it back where we found it after we get his ashes in it, because he helped build the.
But he wanted it to be buried at one of these places, right?
Well, I thought it was just a place that he had helped build. But maybe not. And this one has been renovated, so maybe one of the other places would be better.
I think that we should respect his final wishes.
Definitely.
So we have to try to go to those places and find out which one will like give us permission to bury an urn in their yard.
Pretty much.
Well, let's scope the places out then.
Okay, right after work.
Okay.
So does Yuko and Beth just kind of like hang out
Pretty
at the
much.
store all day, help with some of the stuff?
Pretty much, yep.
Raven, you get a total of 2 customers.
Do they buy anything?
One of them does.
Yeah, that's a pretty good success ratio. 50%. Not bad.
Yeah, one of them's like this college student who buys like a couple books on intro to Wicca. And the second one is this crazy guy who kind of like wanders around the store mumbling to himself and then leaves.
I asked Raven, you get a lot of those in here?
Yes. People who feel outcast by the world tend to, tend to gravitate towards beliefs and religions that are also sort of on the fringe of society.
I guess I can kind of feel for them, but I still don't get it.
What don't you get?
I mean, why would anybody want to become involved with all of the stuff out there? Don't you think it's a little scary?
No.
Well, that's the point.
That's the
I don't-
point. What do you mean, Beth?
Well, life's an adventure. You stay at home all day. What kind of life is that?
A long and hopefully fruitful one. It's
I don't
ironic, isn't it?
scary at all.
Here I am doing all of this dangerous stuff, a detective, but I don't want to have adventures. Oh, God. So this is what Miss Riley was talking about with all that paradoxical shit. Ah, my head hurts. Nope.
Miss Riley, that's your like mentor and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't suppose that she or anybody else that we know, that we'd want to, let them know that the professor passed away?
Well, I've been trying to call her to get her advice for the past few days, but she just won't pick up her phone.
Hmm.
She calls me when she needs me, but God help me if I need somebody to call for, help me out.
I feel like maybe you need to take some time and meditate a little bit. You seem a little stressed.
Meditate. I look up at her. You sound like my parents. Meditate.
Could do you a lot of good.
I never believed in that shit.
People who meditate live longer. Scientific fact.
I'd like to see your resources on that, but okay.
I'm gonna get on social media, and if I have anybody on social media from my college days, I'm going to, let them know. Hey, were you in the professor's class? Because, well, he passed away. Things like that. Just, you know, share that with people.
Indeed. While you're doing this, specifically two of the people, um, two of the people you send emails to are Rachel and Deborah, your two high school besties, who you've kind of fallen out of touch with them lately, but you still occasionally communicate by email. Just
All right.
name dropping them.
Rachel and Deborah. Were they with me?
At the accident,
Yeah.
definitely. They were part of that. And I'm wondering, do you think that's what tore the friendship apart?
Yeah, I think at any given moment, none of us wanted to relive certain things, and we just became reminders of the shit we did and the shit we should have done.
Indeed. So, unless there's anything else you want to do, I'm going to do a little bit of a time skip till Friday.
Go for it.
All right. So it is Friday morning. You receive a call. One of you picks up. And it's from the funeral home. They're telling you that Ellsworth has been prepared.
Who receives the call?
I'll leave that up to you guys. Who would be up earliest?
Probably Yuko, I'd imagine. That's just
All right.
a guess.
Then Yuko receives the call.
Okay. I acknowledge this. I say, okay, thank you. We'll be there to pick it up in a few hours, I think. I get out of my bed. I get dressed, and I go to see if Beth and Raven are awake. You guys there?
Yes, Raven is awake. She is her and Tobias are meditating. They're doing their morning meditation.
I see this, and I perhaps notice the lizard meditating with you somewhat. And I say, I hate to break your meditation there, Buddha, but Ellsworth's, there I go being disrespectful. Sensei's ashes are ready.
It's if it's Friday, it's legs day, so I'm probably out on my run, but I'll be back soon.
All right.
Noticing that Beth wasn't there, I'd probably give her a call, let her know what happened, what's going on.
Beth, you're just returning from your run when you get the call.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to voicemail because I'm breathing pretty hard. And if I'm going to be coming back soon, then it should be fine.
So you guys will regroup back in the parking lot of the apartment.
All right, what time is it now?
It's like 10 a.m.
Okay, well, if we gotta go get the ashes, we can pick them up and we can do that, and then I gotta go to work.
Let's go and get this over with then.
Cool.
Without John and John's funeral.
John and John's.
And Ellsworth, he left in his will. He left most of his inheritance to various charities, as well as the Boston Public Library, the Boston Historical Museum. Even a small portion went to the city of Boston. He left nothing for himself, and so you receive his urns pretty much in a cardboard box.
I look at the
ashes.
I look at the box that they deliver his ashes in, and I seem kind of like disappointed and a bit angry about this. But considering, like the shit that was written into his will, if I know about that, do I know about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna say you do. I'm gonna say like it was his death was brought up in the news, and his will was read by not read, but the contents of the will were mentioned on the news. And
I'm gonna say, as I take the box, well, it was his choice at the end, and I'm gonna, we're gonna take it.
and it's not like he didn't prepare. I mean, he did make his own urn.
Yeah, there's that at least, right?
All right, well, I'm glad that we have something nicer to put him in. That's good.
You guys
So, yeah,
think of any way we're going to convince these people, one of these people, to let us put the urn in the ground in their fine homes? Well, not so fine homes over there, but
Well, maybe one of them's a renter and they won't care.
Maybe one of them is abandoned. That might also
Yeah.
be something to consider.
Yeah,
one of them might be abandoned.
abandoned.
Or not occupied.
No.
When Beth looked at the Google Maps, you did notice that there were cars in every driveway.
Well, I mean, all we can do is ask, I guess.
Well, I guess it doesn't hurt. Well, let's go. Let's ask.
If I mean, we probably had time to check out to see who was a renter and who was an owner, and if we wanted to, either go to the owner because we believe that we want the owner's approval, then that's one thing, or if we want to avoid the owner, like you're saying, we could go for the renters instead.
Whatever we do, I just want to get this over with.
Well, we're gonna have to do that tomorrow because I have to work today.
I'm reminding you, it's time for Eloise to get to bed.
That's Alexa again. Sorry about that.
Could you at least take us by one of the places before you go to work?
I'm reminding you, it's time for Eloise to get to bed.
It's time to bury Ellsworth.
Yeah,
You
well,
do have an hour before you have to be
Okay, then yeah, we can go by one place. Wherever's closest, we can go by there
Okay,
and
let's go.
check it out.
Which one would be closest?
The one in Allison, the Victorian house.
Okay.
Because would we be able to find out like on the internet, like if they're owned or rented, or I mean, obviously owned by somebody, but I mean,
Um,
if they're rentals or if would we know that?
it would take some time. You'd have to do some digging, but you could probably find that information.
Let's just ask. The worst that they can say is no.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
So Yuko will take the ashes. I imagine we've put them in the urn, right?
Yeah, you've exchanged the stark white dust with
Yeah.
little bits of bone still in it, and poured that into the obsidian urn.
You want to go with me? I ask.
It's strange because when you pour the ashes in and you seal the urn for a moment, just for a moment, it's like the urn trembles slightly.
I noticed this. I'm like, I look down at the urn. I'm like, what? Like I look down and I say that.
What's the matter?
I don't know. It's like the urn just shook a little bit. Maybe from the ashes being poured in. I don't know.
Interesting.
Anyways, do you guys want to go with me to ask if we can bury these ashes on this property?
Yeah, we'll go.
All right. Well, let's all put on our saddest faces. Not that I have to try. I mean. And I get out of the car and I approach the front door.
All right, so you pull up in front of this house, and you get out. You start approaching the door. From the front yard, you can see through the open curtains, and you can see a glowing plasma screen TV and a dark-haired man, a fairly heavy-set dark-haired man with a pot belly sitting on the couch watching TV. Harvard is actually just down the street from here.
I knock on the door.
One moment. He pauses the television and he gets up, opens the door. Hello? He kind of looks strangely at these three women standing on his doorstep.
Holding an urn, looking very sad.
Holding a very weird looking urn. Like it's an elaborate looking urn.
So, I don't mean to disturb you, sir, and I give a slight bow as I do this, but I was wondering if we could ask a favor of you. Our late friend, this property was important to him, and his last request was that he be allowed to be buried here. We were wondering if you would allow us to do so.
Who was it?
Professor Ellsworth?
Never heard of him.
He was.
Well, he was an architect for this and many other places here. Let me show you this folder.
He designed. I look to the man and I say, he actually helped design this house, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've plenty of yard, but what's in it for me? He kind of he gives a little burp and kind of sticks his finger in his mouth and like starts picking at his teeth.
I look at him for a second, and okay, this is stupid, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Like Yuko just gets like legitimately pissed at this man for a second. She's gonna make. I'm trying to think here. It's gonna be like an intimidation roll, and I'm gonna apply willpower. But I don't know what.
Intimidation presence.
Yeah, intimidation presence. So, and I have my striking looks as well, so that's cancels out the untrained bonus. So
It
1,
does.
2, 3, 4 die, right? And I just like death stare this man, right? 1 second.
This is a contested roll, so I'm rolling for him.
Okay. I got one success. It's a 10. Two successes. And I say to him, you would really deny a man his last wish? As I just, like, stare him down, pretty much.
He meets your eyes and kind of like swallows. Well, geez, you don't have to put it like that. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Thank you. Where would you like for us to bury him? It is your property, after all.
Just around the back, wherever you want.
Okay. We'll make it look
Did
nice
we
and
happen
neat
to bring a
afterwards.
shovel?
Yeah.
Did we happen to bring a shovel with us?
I'm just gonna say you did. Like you borrowed one from the back of your store or something like that.
Okay.
And we go to the back.
The man, he kind of like he's hovering by like the kitchen window, just kind of like watching you guys nervously.
We let him watch.
Is there a Mr. Johnson? Or a Miss Johnson, Mr. Johnson?
Johnson? What?
Is there a Mrs. Johnson, Mr. Johnson?
My last name isn't Johnson.
Whatever.
Okay, so we dig the hole. We dig the hole.
Okay. Hole has been dug.
And we put the vase down in it. And we bury the vase. Urn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then we cover it back up.
I think we stand there and say a few words.
Yeah. Would anybody like to say anything?
Well, one thing you can always say about the professor is the grades. They really made you earn them.
I just like look. I just like slowly turn my head. And I say, you really had to dig deep for that one, didn't you?
I'm sorry, it's been on my mind all day. I had to get it out. The professor would have been okay with it.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have been down with it, Beth. I mean, he would be practically rolling over in his grave in laughter.
All right, are you two done?
Yeah, I just hope he gets to where he's going, wherever the hell it is.
Well, if you do good things and good things happen to you, I think he's going to have some good things happen to him.
Yeah, how much of a good thing can death be? Dying. Murdered, in fact. I thought, good people were supposed to have good deaths.
Well, I mean, I usually like to leave the police work to police, but I don't think they're going to be looking at this murder, and I think we're going to have to do it.
All I know is that I don't know anything. And I'm just going to walk back to the car.
I think tomorrow we should see if we can get in his apartment.
Do you say this back at the car, or do you just say this to Beth?
I say it as we're walking back to the car.
Oh.
So,
go-
as you guys are walking back to the car, or rather, Yuko's already gone ahead of you, and Raven's kind of like telling you about, talking about getting back into the apartment. Beth, as you like turn and begin to walk away, for a moment, just for a moment, you think you see like the ground begins to almost glow, but when you turn and look, there's nothing there.
As we're walking back, I ask, why? We didn't find anything there before. What makes you think we would find anything now?
Well, before we were just looking with our eyes.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that I have other ways of seeing things besides just my eyes.
If I didn't know that you weren't fucking with me, I would say you're full of shit. But I can't deny it. There's something about you.
And I think we were paying more attention to the fire than we were any kind of secret, you know, folders or things like that he might have had.
Okay, we can check his apartment out. Let's just go home. I'm tired.
I'm gonna take a moment to look around. I feel suddenly a little paranoid because these people, whoever killed them, I guess it's possible that, you know, they're watching us. So I'll be a little paranoid and look around for any kind of vehicles that, where it looks like somebody might be looking at us. And if I don't find them, I'll be very happy.
Besides the homeowner, you don't see anyone.
I will make a note in my on my computer on the calendar to come back here in about a month. Make sure it's still here.
The urn, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Good plan.
All right, so I guess, yeah, I take these guys wherever, and then I go to work with Tobias.
Yeah,
Nice.
where would we go from here?
Where would you go indeed?
I mean, I can't take you far because I don't have a lot of money.
You can
Yeah.
get back to the apartment.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's where we'll go then.
One of you guys needs to get a job.
I have a
Yeah.
job.
I mean, preferably both of you guys. Does it pay anything?
When I have cases, sir.
Well, if it's not paying you, it's not a job.
I'll get on my LinkedIn.
So we make it back to the apartment then, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, you do. Raven drops you off and then goes to her job.
I'm gonna go to the apartment.
Okay. The police tape has been taken down. The door has been closed and locked.
What about the window?
No, we were his best friend. We have a spare key.
Yeah, do we have a key?
Evens or odds?
Odds.
You do not have a spare key. Nope.
Though I do appreciate choosing odd because I think that's our motto.
Everything about this whole thing is odd.
Okay.
Well, we can approach Margaret and say, you know, we'd be happy to clean his place up. You know, we do that, you know, for free and everything, and maybe she'll let us in. I mean, we wouldn't be far from the truth for us saying that we, you know, like to do this final duty for him since he was a good friend of ours.
Yeah, I guarantee you she's gonna fucking say no. You got a bobby pin?
I have no idea if my hair is such that I have bobby pins.
Do I have a bobby pin, Micah?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
You're a detective. You wouldn't have lock picking. Why are you using a bobby pin?
You assume that I have any points within larceny. You are wrong. Okay. Give me one second.
You have change for $5.
I do not.
Yeah, I don't have any points in larceny either. We sure want to do larceny.
Okay.
I'm gonna start doing YouTube.
So, what do I need to roll here?
Larceny dexterity.
Okay. So
And
I'm,
it's -1 if you don't have any dots.
I'm rolling 4 die still. I have 2 successes.
Yeah, it takes you a couple minutes, but you manage to get it. And you hear a slight click as the door unlocks.
I smile slightly. I look towards Beth and I say, "See? Fuck Margaret," as I walk in, closing the door behind me and locking it after Beth comes in, if she's coming in.
You want me to stay outside, make sure nobody bothers you?
They have no reason to come in here if we lock the door.
That's a good point.
Well, as long as we don't make a whole lot of noise, so don't knock anything over.
All right.
And we're going to begin to, I guess, look around for more stuff that we missed the first time.
Margaret has not gotten around to cleaning the place, so there's still. It's very much. It very much looks like how you left it, except she definitely has gone through some of his possessions.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say that bitch. She probably stole some of his fucking. I just have this like, disgusted look on my face as I consider.
That Tim hang up is gone, along with some other heirlooms that were littered about.
Stealing from a dead man. You don't get any lower than that. Well, let's just find what we can and get the fuck out of here. Done with this place. I'm gonna do an investigation roll, I guess.
I would actually prefer you to do a intelligence academics roll, and Beth can do this too.
Okay. I would be rolling 4 die. So. By the way, would I have done anything hasty to have, would my hastiness to get into the, vent have, incited my vice at all?
I would say your hastiness to get into this apartment would have incited the vice, because you could have asked for permission, but you didn't.
Okay, so I got a point of willpower back. I'll spend that point of willpower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have 0 successes.
1 success.
Okay. 1 second.
I'm going to say that the reason I failed so horribly is because I wasn't looking at this from an academic point of view. I was looking at it as a crime scene.
Definitely. And while you're kind of picking over everything, you don't find anything new. You don't find any new clues. Nothing has changed. However, Beth, you do notice this bulbous green glassy lamp in the living room, and after kind of appraising it for a moment, you realize it's an antique. It's an antique brass wall fixture, like from one of the old ones downtown. It's not something you can just buy, and it's probably worth a pretty penny.
Well, I think I would like it not for the money, but to remember him by. That be okay?
Yeah.
Oh, were you asking Yuko? Or was that
Yeah.
just a... I consider what you're doing and I say, well, as long as you don't plan on doing it for profit, it's not like he'll miss it.
But we don't have to tell Raven that it's worth it.
Huh. Well, let's get out of here then. For Margaret, I can't even think of a nickname for her right now. Let's just get out of here, Beth.
Megs.
Sure. Sure. The Menace. There you go. That's perfect. Margaret the Menace. Finally found the perfect nickname for her.
Awesome. So yeah, you guys quietly leave the apartment, lamp in tow, and you sneak back to your apartment without anyone seeing you,
By the way,
especially the menace.
I only have about 20 minutes.
And I'm actually going to call it here because the next scene is pretty lengthy.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to stop the recording real quick.